In a time long ago, where gods and monsters roamed the earth, the boundaries between the divine and the monstrous blurred. We find ourselves in the eerie world of ancient Greece, a place cloaked in mystery and awe. The vast pantheon of gods watched over the world, while creatures of great and fearsome power lurked in hidden corners, awaiting their moment to arise. Among these powerful beings was Echidna, known as the mother of monsters. The tale of Echidna begins with the union of two primordial entities. From the deep churning sea emerged Ceto, a sea goddess of haunting beauty and dangerous allure. Her consort Phorcys was a primordial sea god, embodying the raw, untamed power of the ocean's depths. Together they brought forth a being that would become synonymous with the birth of monstrosity, Echidna. From her very inception, Echidna embodied a unique duality. Half nymph, half serpent, she was a living contradiction, a creature of captivating beauty mingled with fearsome power. Her upper body retained the enchanting features of a nymph, offering an otherworldly grace that belied her monstrous nature. Yet below, her form twisted into that of a great serpent, coiling and uncoiling with latent strength and promise of destruction. This sacred contradiction defined her essence, marking her as different from anything the world had seen before. Echidna's world was one of isolation, far removed from the watchful eyes of Olympus. She made her home in the secluded caverns of ancient Greece, where shadows danced upon the walls, and the air felt thick with sacred mystery. These caverns, carved by time, were shrouded in an eternal twilight, casting an amber glow over everything they touched. Within these depths, surrounded by veins of glowing quartz, Echidna found solace and purpose. Her isolation was not an exile, but a self-imposed retreat, a sacred space where creation could flourish without interruption. The caverns themselves held their own significance. They were not merely a home, but a cradle of divine births, a sanctified womb for the creatures that would emerge from Echidna's union with Typhon. Here, in the quiet of the stone chambers, echoes of ancient power whispered through the air, foretelling the emergence of beings that would shape the future of mythology. Each rock formation stood as a silent witness to the births that would forever alter the balance between creation and destruction. The mystery of Echidna's existence held an allure both enchanting and terrifying. To mortals, she was a legend intertwined with dread. To the gods, she was a reminder of the chaos that ever hovered on the fringes of their ordered realm. Yet, for Echidna, this mystery was simply her truth, a truth rooted in the eternal dance of creation and annihilation. Her nature was to birth monstrosity, to offer the world a balance in forms that inspired both reverence and fear. This delicate balance of creation and destruction emerged as a recurring theme, woven through the very fabric of Echidna's life. Her offspring would embody this duality, as creatures born to disrupt and to balance the order enforced by Olympian rule. They would carry forward her legacy, ensuring that the titanic clash between chaos and order continued to ripple through the ages. In her heart, Echidna harbored the knowledge that her destiny stretched far beyond the caverns she called home. She was destined to become the mother of monsters, a title that would encompass both her formidable power and her innate need to create and nurture. Each birth from her womb would carry forth a piece of her essence, embedding her influence within the world. As the twilight lingered over the cavern's entrance, the first whispers of change began to stir. In the shadows, the air thickened with anticipation of what Echidna's legacy would bring. Her solitude would soon lead to a significant union with Typhon, a powerful consort who would echo her formidable nature. Together, they would forge a lineage of creatures destined to challenge the very gods themselves. Thus marks the beginning of Echidna's tale, a journey of solitude and power, creation and destruction, one that would echo through the annals of myth, leaving a lasting imprint on the world. A new chapter awaited her beyond the cavern's walls, stirred by the union of formidable forces that would reimagine the balance of power. In the mysterious domain of ancient Greece, where the whispers of gods and creatures intermingled, there was a storm giant whose name invoked awe and reverence, Typhon. Known for his unmatched power and chaotic nature, Typhon was a force to be reckoned with. His presence alone could stir the fiercest tempests, and his gaze threatened even the bravest of hearts. He stood taller than the highest peaks, with heads reaching toward the sky and eyes aflame with untamed energy. His voice reverberated like distant thunder, a warning of the brewing storm within him. Despite his terrifying form, it was his sheer potential for upheaval that fascinated and captivated those who dared to seek his acquaintance. Echidna, dwelling in her secluded cavern, found herself strangely intrigued by this embodiment of chaos. The tales of his might reached her ears, and whispers of his formidable presence echoed through the corridors of her rocky abode. Here was a being whose essence matched her own enigmatic power, albeit in the form of unpredictable fury. Echidna's own existence was defined by the balance of creation and destruction, and in Typhon, she saw a perfect consort with whom she could share her journey. She sensed that his capacity for upheaval was mirrored by her enduring steadiness, an intriguing duality that beckoned exploration. Driven by an instinctive draw, Typhon embarked on a fateful journey to the caverns where Echidna resided. The path was fraught with challenges, for his colossal form often clashed with the natural world around him, leaving traces of his passage in the ruined terrain. As he trekked through the dense shadowed forests and over craggy peaks, the earth trembled beneath his feet, and the skies darkened in reflection of his inner tumult. It was not the cowering whispers of lesser beings that guided him, but rather a profound intuition that he was approaching something monumentally significant. When at last he reached the entrance to Echidna's domain, the air was heavy with expectation. The caverns loomed before him, veiled in an eerie glow reminiscent of the twilight hour, even as the world outside teetered between fading light and encroaching darkness. Typhon paused, considering the threshold that marked the border between his chaotic influence and the sacred tranquility of Echidna's realm. He could sense that within lay not merely a hiding place, but the cradle of future wonders, the nesting ground for something divine and dreadful. Echidna awaited Typhon within, a presence emanating calm and contemplation even amid her own intrigue. As his vast frame settled at the cavern's entrance, her eyes met his, and a quiet understanding passed between them. Typhon beheld Echidna's form, half nymph, half serpent, aligned with the essence of order yet pulsing with potential for creation. It was a balance that resonated with him, drawing him further into the magnetic pull of this destined meeting. Their initial encounter was an exchange of equivalence, one born not from words, but from an inherent recognition of kindred spirits. In Typhon, Echidna recognized a partner who could contribute to her own narrative of creation and transformation. His chaotic nature would disrupt, yet also inevitably fertilize, her role as the mother of monsters. The mutual respect they shared became the foundation upon which they would build their legendary union. And so, upon this newfound partnership, Echidna and Typhon began to forge an unbreakable bond. Their shared natures, his tumultuous chaos and her nurturing order, complemented one another like night and day, like storm and calm. As their spirits intertwined, they brought forth a powerful synthesis of their attributes, forming a union whose legacy would endure through the ages. Together they stood on the precipice of a future that promised prodigious wonders and countless marvels to come. In the solace of their cavern home, Echidna and Typhon contemplated the world they envisioned. Their thoughts turned towards the formidable brood that they would one day bring forth, creatures whose existence would both challenge and uphold the balance of the cosmos. The promise of this lineage filled their hearts with a profound sense of purpose. They were not merely parents of monsters, but custodians of a new order that blended chaos with creation, shaping the fabric of the world in ways unforeseen. As dusk settled more deeply over their secluded refuge, Echidna and Typhon found comfort in the harmonious silence that enveloped them. The jagged rocks and cascading shadows formed a symphony of stillness, an ode to the duality they embodied. Here, in the sanctified space of their own making, the mother of monsters and the storm giant lay the foundation for a legacy that would ripple through time and live on in the annals of Greek mythology. Beneath the serene surface of ancient Greece, hidden within the deep and shadowy caverns, Echidna and her consort Typhon anticipated the arrival of their progeny. Born of a union both extraordinary and terrifying, their offspring would inherit the unique blend of power and mystery from their formidable parents. Echidna, ever the curious and nurturing mother, waited with bated breath as the first signs of life stirred amidst the dim glow of the cavern walls. First came Orthrus, a hound like no other, with two heads that growled in unison. This creature, their initial child, possessed a strength and ferocity that was unparalleled. Each of Orthrus's heads appeared to hold its own consciousness, yet moved in perfect harmony with the other, a testament to the complex nature of his lineage. To the outside world, this beast was a guardian of mighty fortresses and a symbol of boundless ferocity. Yet within the confines of the cavern, Orthrus was but the first herald of what was yet to come, each child adding a new layer to the tapestry woven by Echidna and Typhon. Following Orthrus, the world beheld the emergence of Cerberus, perhaps one of the most legendary of Echidna's children. With three snarling heads capable of casting fear into the hearts of gods and mortals alike, Cerberus was destined to guard the gates of the underworld. This assignment was not simply a role, but a fulfillment of his purpose, ensuring balance between the realms of the living and the dead. Each of Cerberus's heads could perceive realms beyond the mortal ken, standing steadfast at the threshold of Hades's domain, ever vigilant against those who might seek to disrupt the natural order of Thoth. Life and death. As the cycle of creation continued, the Hydra slithered forth into existence, its serpentine form coiling seamlessly around the pillars of the cavern. This creature of numerous heads was both a marvel and a terror. Each time a head was severed, two more would grow in its place, a symbol of the endless cycle of life and regeneration. Hydra's presence reinforced the notion of nature's intricate balance, its regenerative ability a testament to resilience and the unexpected grace found within chaos. To mortals, facing this beast would be a daunting ordeal, but to Echidna, it was another reflection of the intricate dance of creation and destruction she enacted with Typhon. Through the birth of these and other formidable progeny, Echidna's legacy began to cast its shadow across the ancient world. Each child, uniquely fearsome and enigmatically powerful, contributed to the delicate tapestry of life and myth. These creatures served their roles as guardians, challengers, and enforcers, each adding to the overarching symphony of balance that defined the ancient ethos of order amidst chaos. Yet not all beheld these monstrous births with reverence. In the lofty halls of Olympus, Zeus watched with growing concern as word of these creatures spread. He pondered the shifting balance of power, aware that each birth of Echidna's offspring presented a potential threat to the order he sought to maintain. Whispers echoed through the immortal realm, filled with trepidation and the pressing need to address this burgeoning family of beasts that seemed to hold destiny in their tooth and claw. Divine voices murmured about the very caverns where these creatures were born, pondering their place in the world's hierarchy. Could such monstrous creations be tolerated, or were they harbingers of an upheaval in the carefully maintained balance of nature and divine rule? Amidst these contemplations, Zeus's thoughts turned towards the means of addressing this formidable pairing of Echidna and Typhon, strategic and watchful of the ripples their offspring made across the ancient landscapes. As the legends of their monstrous children spread, some began to marvel at the power and mystery they embodied, but others looked on with apprehension, their minds filled with the implications these creatures could bring. The rumble of divine concern simmered beneath the stories of mortals, a complex interweaving of admiration and fear, shadows of infinite possibility in the wake of Echidna's lineage. Their monumental legacy, forged from the depths of ancient caverns, stood poised on the precipice of destiny, each child a testament to the inevitable dance between creation and destruction. As the profound impact of these creatures echoed through the ages, the reverence and caution they inspired promised to stir the pot of mythical balance in ways yet to be fully comprehended. In the quiet dawn over Mount Olympus, as the golden hue of the rising sun kissed the clouds, Zeus sat deeply contemplative upon his grand throne. From his vantage point, he saw not only the ever-shifting skies, but the earthly realm below, where the shadows of Echidna and Typhon's monstrous offspring stirred. Each creature, from the hound Orthrus to the many-headed Hydra, challenged the delicate balance of power, shifting the dynamics that defined their world. A sense of unease spread among the Olympians. In the warm halls of Olympus, normally filled with divine laughter, murmurs of concern replaced the usual jovial chatter. The gods and goddesses gathered around Zeus, their expressions a mix of worry and contemplation. The once quiet caverns of Echidna near the Earth's surface now resonated with whispers of immense power and chaos. Each offspring, a marvel in its own right, posed a question of what their existence might signal for the future of Olympus and the mortal realm. Zeus's mind was a tempest of thoughts as he strategized how to maintain the order that had been so carefully cultivated. These monstrous beings, born of Echidna's formidable nature and Typhon's cataclysmic force, represented a rising chaos that could not be ignored. Yet, any action must be measured and wise, considering the potential repercussions on the natural order. To navigate these turbulent waters, Zeus turned to Athena, his sharp-sighted daughter, known for her wisdom and tactical brilliance. Athena approached the situation with cautious reflection. She reasoned that while the monstrous brood thrived under the aegis of their parents, there lay within them the potential to execute tasks that could inadvertently support the larger cosmic order, provided they were guided or restrained as necessary. Discussions intensified as differences in opinion emerged among the Olympians. Hera, ever vigilant and protective of her domain, expressed grave concern about the unchecked influence of these creatures. Apollo, with forethought befitting the god of prophecy, proposed actions designed to anticipate and sway the creatures' roles toward more beneficial ends. Yet, among the gods, unity in approach was elusive, and tension hovered over the council. Amidst these deliberations, Zeus remained ever the stalwart leader. The awareness of potential imbalances weighed heavily upon him, urging decisive action to ensure the stability of Olympus. Elliptical as the earlier conversations were, consensus coalesced around the need for intervention. Nevertheless, the method and the force of that intervention remained a topic of vigorous debate. As dawn's light embraced the mountain, Zeus made a resolute decision. A direct confrontation seemed inevitable, for ignoring the burgeoning turbulence from below was no longer tenable. Guided by a sense of responsibility to preserve cosmic equilibrium, Zeus prepared for an inevitable meeting with Typhon, whose elemental fury matched even the might of the heavens. In the gentle silence that followed the council's dispersal, Zeus's gaze turned once more to the horizon. The sun now sat fully in the sky, golden and abiding. It cast long shadows over Olympus, yet beyond its reach were the deeper, more inscrutable shadows of the caverns below, where Typhon and Echidna dwelled. There, Zeus's mind lingered, pondering the coming confrontation, a blend of strategy, power, and the necessity to restore order to a world increasingly colored by chaos. This contemplation of balance, and the struggles inherent in maintaining it, prepared Olympus for the struggle to come, quietly accepting the permanent dualities of creation and destruction. Typhon, the towering storm giant, had long sensed the restlessness brewing on Mount Olympus. Whispers of discontent and divine concerns over the offspring he shared with Echidna reached his ears like murmurs through the wind. Ever vigilant and powerful, Typhon understood the Olympians saw his burgeoning family as a disruption to their carefully maintained harmony. Yet, his formidable nature was birthed from chaos itself, and it was in chaos that he thrived, ready to meet whatever challenge might descend from the mountaintops. In the halls of Olympus, Zeus stood resolute, having reached his decision. Fulfilling his duty as the bearer of order, he descended from the heavens, drawn by destiny to confront the mighty Typhon. The sky darkened with Zeus's passage, clouds gathering like ancient sentinels as he made his approach. His resolve shone like a beacon, matched only by the lightning bolts he wielded as weapons of divine justice. With the earth underfoot trembling in anticipation, Zeus prepared to face the colossal storm giant who dared to disturb the world's precious balance. The battle commenced with a clash of elemental forces, a scene of primal grandeur. At the heart of the turbulent storm, Typhon roared with a sound that echoed across time, calling upon the raw powers of lava and tempest. The winds whipped into a frenzy, fires surged from beneath the earth, and the world felt the quake of their combined ferocity. Typhon, the personification of nature's indomitable wrath, unleashed an onslaught that sought to engulf Zeus in volcanic fury. But Zeus, the king of gods, was a master of the elements of the sky. With unyielding precision, he responded to Typhon's assault. Thunderbolts lashed out, piercing through the tumultuous clouds with blinding brilliance, each strike a testament to Zeus's dominion. Rain fell in torrents, quenching the fiery bursts from below, while winds battled against winds, a celestial armada in the endless dance of chaos and order. As each element collided, it became a testament to the ever-ongoing struggle between opposing forces that defined their world. Throughout this cataclysmic engagement, the world beneath their battlefield trembled as if caught in the throes of a grand symphony. As mountains heaved and rivers surged, the earth seemed alive with the resonance of their mighty conflict. Cities whispered tales of the divine confrontation so fierce it tamed the forces of nature itself, and distant lands felt the distant echoes of their battle, like ripples across a cosmic pond. Observing the battle from her secluded cavern, Echidna watched with a blend of awe and contemplation. Her heart, intertwined with the fates of the divine and the monstrous alike, saw in this upheaval a reminder of her dual nature as both creator and potential harbinger of destruction. In her progeny, she had molded agents of chaos whom the gods now deemed threats. The confrontation between Zeus and Typhon was more than a struggle for dominion. It was a reflection of the delicate dance between creation and annihilation. Finally, the tide shifted. Zeus, wielding his formidable power, found an opening amidst Typhon's relentless barrage. With a mighty surge of his thunderbolts, Zeus forced Typhon to retreat, driving him down beneath the indomitable weight of Mount Etna. The very mountain, it was said, rose to contain his rage, trembling with the essence of the subdued mighty giant. Though temporarily subdued, the power of Typhon remained potent, simmering beneath the volcanic landscape as an ever-present emblem of chaos restrained, yet never truly defeated. As the storm began to calm above and the earth settled beneath, the world paused to breathe anew. Typhon's fall marked not an end, but a continuation of an enduring cycle where the forces of creation and destruction are challenged and redefined. Watching the battle's serene aftermath unfold, one could feel the rebirth of equilibrium and the tension between opposing powers. The story was far from complete. The latent energies beneath Mount Etna served as a reminder that in the world of gods and titans, nothing remains still for long. Echidna's awareness of these deep truths lingered, as she pondered her role and that of her progeny in a world of flux. Her thoughts wove the continuation of a story yet to unfold, a narrative etched into the very fabric of time, where her monstrous offspring would act as perpetual forces, influencing myth and reality alike. Although temporary, Typhon's absence left his essence lingering beneath, a silent promise that such conflicts were never more than a heartbeat away from resurgence. With the titanic clash between Zeus and Typhon momentarily subsiding, the caverns where Echidna dwelled remained imbued with an unsettling calm. As the dust settled around Mount Etna, Echidna turned her focus back to her offspring, whose destinies loomed as monumental forces in the world beyond her caverns. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the very walls of her secluded sanctuary whispered the tales of the powerful creatures that called it home. Cerberus, the fearsome three-headed hound, had found his place guarding the underworld. His presence there was a testament to Echidna's influence reaching into the realms of the afterlife. The eerie glow of the Stygian depths reflected in Cerberus's eyes, and his heavy paws left silent impressions in the soil at the gates, a constant reminder of his vigilant and unyielding nature. Here, Cerberus maintained balance in the underworld, ensuring only those who were meant to pass could slip through his vigilant gaze. His loyalty to Hades was unmatched, mirroring the same nurturer's care Echidna had bestowed upon him in his formative days. Unlike Cerberus, the multi-headed Hydra had emerged to inhabit the swamps of Lerna. Its regenerative powers were both its gift and its curse, as each head severed saw two more grow in its place. This monstrous serpent sowed fear among those who dared enter its territory. Such was its terrifying reputation that even the bravest of mortals approached the swamps with trepidation, aware of the doom that awaited any who dared challenge the creature's sovereignty. The Hydra's ability to sustain itself endlessly from its own destruction was a powerful metaphor, echoing the cycles of life and death that governed the natural and mythological worlds alike. Orthrus, the lesser-known sibling, remained a steadfast companion to the giant Eurytion and helped guard the cattle of Geryon in the far west of the known world. This two-headed hound, although overshadowed by his monstrous siblings, stayed resolute in his duty. His loyalty was legendary, and those who encountered him in Geryon's realm would feel the intimidating strength and intelligence that defined Echidna's lineage. Orthrus's role, while seemingly mundane, held the essence of the protective instincts passed down from his formidable mother, demonstrating the diverse nature of Echidna's creations. The whispers of these legendary creatures spread far and wide, reaching the ears of mortals and gods alike. The world was now rife with tales of Echidna's offspring, ensuring her legacy lived on through the fear and awe they commanded. The gods, ever watchful, kept a vigilant eye on these beasts, contemplating the pervasive influence of Echidna and Typhon's progeny. The fear that they incited was balanced by the awe of their undeniable magnificence, each creature serving a specific purpose in maintaining the cosmic balance. Echidna's thoughts often drifted to her children, pondering the roles they played in the grand tapestry of existence. There was a confidence within her, a certainty that through them, her legacy would endure despite the temporary fall of Typhon. Her progeny had ventured forth into the world beyond her caverns, carrying with them the potent blend of chaos and order, an embodiment of their parents' union. Each time she recalled the origins of these creatures, there was a serene acceptance of the ripple effects they had on creation itself. In this moment of quiet reflection, Echidna understood that the enduring power of her children was not solely a testament to their formidable presence. They were, in essence, the living synthesis of elemental forces carefully nurtured within her care, the unfurling of boundless potential in a world shaped by the whims of the divine. Their existence was a perpetual balance, a promise that even the most chaotic elements could find their place in the grand cycle that governed all mythical beings. As the days turned into mild, unnameable epochs within the timeless caverns, Echidna's contemplation of the future remained uninterrupted. Her monsters lurked in the periphery of the mortal and divine realms, quietly asserting the legacy of their lineage. The echoes of their roars and hisses transcended mere sound, leaving an indelible mark upon the annals of Greek mythology. The calm that now permeated the cavern belied the underlying potency of the creatures nurtured within it, each waiting for its time to shape the world once more. There, beneath the shadowed alcoves and the eternal embrace of stone, Echidna dreamed of futures yet unwritten. Through her children, the mother of monsters stood eternally vigilant, her influence felt in every corner of the mythic realms. And so, even as Typhon slumbered beneath the weight of Mount Etna, the world awaited the return of chaos biding its time. The serene reflection within the caverns stood as a testimony to the balance of power that echoed throughout the mythological world. In their temporary silence, the echoes of past battles and glimmers of potential shifts instilled a tranquility, a calm before the next stirrings of mythic forces would remind gods and mortals alike of the lingering legacy of Echidna, the eternal mother, the enduring watchful shadow of chaos and creation. In the deep, shadowed recesses of her secluded caverns, Echidna pondered the influence her monstrous children exerted across the mythical world. Her thoughts were not whimsical, but focused and deliberate, turning over each of their roles in the grand scheme of the cosmos. They were the embodiment of her union with Typhon, each child crafted with a unique purpose that contributed to a balance she both understood and admired. As she traced her imagination along the divine paths of their fates, she accepted the integral part they played in the interplay of creation and destruction, a natural equilibrium that seemed unquestionable to her. Cerberus, her trusted offspring, was a symbol of loyalty and strength, stationed at the gates of the underworld. His 3 heads watched tirelessly, ensuring that no soul escaped Hades' domain and no intruders crossed its threshold. Echidna knew that Cerberus was revered for his ferocity and steadfast commitment, fulfilling his destined role without fail. Moreover, his presence highlighted the immutable bond between her lineage and the realms of the divine. His dedication to duty mirrored her own resolve to maintain her legacy. The underworld thrived partially due to his vigilance, marking him as an essential player in the vast tapestry of existence. The Hydra, another of Echidna's progeny, reigned in the marshes of Lerna. Its regenerative ability was a testament to the persistence of life, even when faced with destruction. This ruthless creature, with its many heads sprouting anew after being severed, captured the essence of resilience in its most primal form. Adventurers who sought to vanquish the Hydra often faced peril because they underestimated its capacity for regeneration. It was a reminder to Echidna that creation and destruction were intertwined. As one head fell, another rose to take its place, preserving the cyclical nature of existence. Through this powerful creature, Echidna saw her influence persist in a world that both revered and feared her offspring. Orthrus, the 2-headed hound, served Geryon by guarding his prized cattle. The hound, with its keen dual gaze, was not just a protector but a symbol of duality and vigilance. Much like his brother Cerberus, Orthrus fulfilled his role with diligence, ensuring the safety of what he was charged to protect. His power lay in his simplicity, being both a fierce guardian and an integral part of the pastoral realms of man and beast. Orthrus wasn't merely a servant of Geryon. He was a vital part of the harmonious, albeit precarious relationship between mankind and the elements of nature, a testament to the subtle omnipresence of Echidna's lineage. As Echidna contemplated the spread of her influence through these creatures, she acknowledged the quiet but potent fear they inspired in both mortals and immortals. This was not solely due to their strength or their obedience to their appointed roles. It was because each monster symbolized the unpredictable aspects of life and destiny. Zeus himself had been wary of this power, recognizing that unchecked, it could tip the delicate scales between chaos and order, a balance he strove to maintain. Yet, Echidna, in her maternal wisdom, understood that without chaos, order would lose its significance. The monsters were necessary catalysts that provoked change, challenging the gods and heroes to rise to new heights. The echo of her children's exploits whispered across the lands, drawing attention and awe. Occasionally, whispers from Olympus reached Echidna's ears, voices of gods concerned with the menace they perceived in her offspring. Yet to her, these murmurings merely reinforced the importance of her creations in the natural order. Despite any fear they inspired, they were reminders that the gods themselves were not beyond challenge. In this understanding, Echidna found solace, confident that her legacy would endure amidst divine and mortal realms alike. This tranquil acceptance poured into every cavern wall and shadowed crevice of her domain. Echidna's serene contemplation was not one of victory or defeat, but of the recognition of continued influence. Her children were landmarks of power and adaptability, shaping the world in ways that ensured her lineage and intent persisted. The nature of existence was reflected in their eyes, complex and beautifully intertwined. As these reflections settled, Echidna embraced the certainty of her progeny's impact on the world, a testament to her own enduring essence. Beyond the boundaries of the caverns, the mythological realms shifted and adapted to the presence of her children, echoing her legacy in every corner. It was within these musings that Echidna found peace, knowing that the roles her offspring played were vital threads woven into the epic tale of gods and monsters alike. In the depths of her labyrinthine home, the mother of monsters quietly accepted her place in myth, the sanctity of her creations resonating through the realms like a soft echo. Her thoughts could now gently transition towards the future that continued to unfold beyond her hidden sanctuary. In the depths of her secluded caverns, Echidna settled into a period of contemplation, pondering the far-reaching implications of her offspring. These monsters, born from her union with Typhon, have etched a timeless imprint on the world. She could feel the essence of each creature as part of her own, just as essential elements of nature itself. Among them, Cerberus, the three-headed hound, stood as a sentinel at the gates of the underworld, a steadfast guardian between realms. His presence offered a peculiar stability within the chaos, aligning with the underworld's necessity to be both feared and revered, a duality Echidna herself understood too well. Her eyes drifted to the mental image of the Hydra, who flourished in the swampy remnants of Lerna. Its multiple regenerative heads rendered it nearly unbeatable, a testament to resilience even against the most daunting adversities. Despite the threat it posed to heroes who dared to approach, the Hydra was a pivotal force in the cycle of challenges the gods placed before mortals. To Echidna, this represented not terror, but a kind of evolution, a perennial trial that tested valor and cunning, qualities highly prized by the Olympians above. Then there was Orthrus, the fierce two-headed dog who served as a vigilant protector of Geryon's cattle. His loyalty to his duty mirrored the constancy Echidna felt within herself, a natural guardian spirit embodied in monstrous form. The tale of Orthrus was intertwined with the legendary labors of Heracles, providing the hero with yet another legendary challenge that showcased strength against multi-headed fury. Through these children, Echidna observed how the gods' plans seamlessly integrated her creations into their grand narrative, a balance of creation and destruction underpinned by her enviable ability to birth these potent forces. Beyond the caverns, the whispers among the gods continued, as did their interventions. For every task her children undertook, the Olympians found new opportunities to guide mortals, favor heroes, or test hearts. Echidna was not merely a mother of monsters, she was, in essence, a pillar of mythical equilibrium. While Zeus and his kind perceived threats, Echidna found reassurance in her role. Her progeny were integral to the cosmos, agents that inspired awe and demanded respect. But the world that lay beyond her caverns was ever-changing. As Echidna surveyed the mythological landscapes in her mind's eye, she saw a future unspooling. One punctuated by stories of valor, defeat, and resilience, all these forged by the interaction her monstrous children had with both mortals and immortals. Each engagement, a reflection of the enduring clash and harmony between chaos and order. Even as she remained in solitude, Echidna's influence was unremitting, coursing through the veins of mythology like an unseen force that shaped destinies. It was this timeless impact, her silent yet indelible legacy, that continued to evolve, even as the caverns lay still. Her offspring's presence reverberated across the realms, at times subtly tilting the scales in favor of chaos, at others restoring the desperate need for equilibrium. Her reflection on these matters brought a sense of quiet pride, her contributions not measured by the conventional standards of victory, but by the more profound fulfillments of continuity and endurance. In this subdued domain of thought and essence, the eternal echoes of her influence could be felt, vibrating through every fissure and cranny of the earthly domain, reminding her that her place in the mythological structure was singular and perpetual. Echidna needed not to venture beyond the confines of her dwelling to witness, for inside the chambers of her heart, and within the far reaches of the world, her legacy thrived, unyielding and eternal. With this acceptance, the Mother of Monsters turned her mind to the eternal balance of divine and mortal realms, where her creations continued to shape and define existence. These powerful offspring, much like the tales themselves, were woven into time's very fabric. As tales of heroes trickled down the ages, Echidna's legacy cemented itself further, an enduring testament to the delicate interplay between power and progeny. In the depths of the ancient Greek caverns, Echidna, the formidable mother of monsters, contemplated the enduring legacy of her monstrous progeny. Her creation, a balance between chaos and order, had woven itself into the very fabric of mythology. Her children, each embodying unique aspects of power, fear, and destruction, had become central figures in the tales spun by mortals and immortals alike. Each played an integral role in the grand tapestry of the world, leaving an indelible mark on both gods and men. Cerberus, the loyal guardian of the underworld, had become an emblem of stability in the midst of the chaotic cycle of life and death. A fearsome gatekeeper, his presence ensured that the boundaries between the living and the dead remained intact. This monstrous offspring did not simply exist to instill fear, but to preserve the very order that the world depended on. The legacy of Cerberus stretched beyond his duty. He embodied the necessity of limits and protection in the mortal and divine realms. Not far behind lay Hydra, the many-headed serpent whose regenerative powers represented the endless trials faced by both gods and men. Each decapitated head heralded two more in its place, a manifestation of the relentless nature of life's challenges. Hydra's presence in mythology was a stark reminder of resilience and the perpetual struggle against adversity. From the murmurings of ancient philosophers to the heroic tales sung by bards, the Hydra symbolized the formidable trials that tested the courage and tenacity of heroes. Then there was Orthrus, the two-headed hound known for its unwavering loyalty. As the companion to giants, Orthrus had become enmeshed in legendary conflicts that shaped the destinies of heroes. The tales of bravery and betrayal that surrounded Orthrus highlighted the complicated strands of fidelity and defiance. His presence in the mythological narratives resonated with the values of allegiance and the consequences of power contests within and beyond the mortal scope. These creatures, and others born from the union of Echidna and Typhon, were not mere anomalies in the mythos, but reflections of essential truths and lessons intertwined with mortal life. Each story that featured them illustrated the delicate balance that their mother sought to maintain, showing how the monstrous and divine coexisted and influenced the realms of gods and mortals. The echoes of their impact reverberated through every myth, creating perpetual reminders of power's dual ability to protect and destroy. Echidna's contemplation extended to the heroic figures who faced her offspring, each carving their legend alongside the monsters. Heroes rose time and again to overcome the challenges set by Echidna's children, embodying the valor and cunning necessary to restore harmony amidst chaos. While the monsters taught lessons through their terror, the heroes emerged as reminders of hope and perseverance against insurmountable odds. Their combined narratives ensured that neither side of the myth was forgotten, preserving the ancient balance. Her gaze drifted over the shadowed caverns, where her progeny were conceived and given form. The sanctity of these birthplaces reaffirmed the sacred duty Echidna held as a creator, one whose nature was as vital to the divine order as the gods themselves. She had forged beings that walked both the line of fear and reverence, crafting tales as significant as the feats of the Olympians. In this duality, her legacy was cemented. Yet, even amidst her creation's ongoing influence, a part of Echidna understood the necessity for evolution and adaptation. Though their origins were ancient, these monsters had become more than just players in age-old tales. Their legacy had grown beyond mere horror, becoming part of wider lessons that shaped the understanding of power, perseverance, and the interconnectedness of all things. As she lingered in reflective silence, the scattered whispers of her name in myth and legend reached her, confirming the indelible role she maintained within the mythology. The lingering stories of her and Typhon's children traversed across generations, gently touching each new listener with awe and a solemn awareness of the grand narratives that continued to unfold. Echidna's introspection concluded with a serene acceptance of her timeless role, a creator of realms where oppositions intertwined, ensuring that myth and reality remained forever entwined. As she observed the flickering shadows cast by the silent veins of luminous quartz, she understood that her progeny's stories would persist, their lessons echoing through time immemorial. Echidna, dwelling quietly in her secluded caverns, pondered the intricate legacy left by her formidable offspring. She understood deeply that her children were more than mere monsters. They embodied the complex, eternal dance of chaos and order in the world. Each progeny played a unique role in the mythological tapestry, intertwining with the lives of both gods and mortals. Cerberus, the fearsome three-headed guardian of the underworld, faithfully stood as a sentinel at the gates of Hades, maintaining the balance between life and death. He represented stability amidst the swirling tempest of chaos, an unwavering figure in the underworld's grim landscape. His presence was one of deterrence, ensuring that the cycles of life remained unbroken. Echidna took pride in this role, knowing that in such stability, the weight of her legacy persisted. Then, there was the Hydra, a symbol of boundless resilience and the unyielding challenges that heroes faced. With every head that was severed, two more took its place, posing an ever-growing challenge for those who sought to slay it. This creature embodied the relentless nature of chaos itself, an obstacle that tested the strength and resolve of mortals who dared cross its path. The Hydra's defeat by Heracles, involving cunning and strategic brilliance, was yet another testament to the creature's role in ensuring that chaos forever lingered at the edges of human endeavors. Orthrus, the vigilant two-headed hound, was a guardian too, renowned for his loyalty and fierce protection. Associated with the cattle of Geryon, whom he guarded zealously, Orthrus's presence in myth underscored the theme of loyalty amidst tales of heroism. His defeat at the hands of Heracles added another chapter in the annals of monster and hero stories, highlighting how these mythical creatures shaped the journeys of legendary figures. As Echidna reflected, she recognized that her legacy carried heavy implications. Beyond their terrifying visages and roles as challenges for heroes, her children were reminders of the essential balance between chaos and order. Their existence called for the valor of heroes, spurring them to feats of courage that would become immortalized in lore. Through her offspring, Echidna had indelibly influenced not just the mortal world, but also the divine, their stories woven into the very fabric of Greek mythology. Echidna's influence reached the heights of Olympus, where the gods watched and sometimes intervened, wary of the unchecked expansion of chaos. Zeus, the patriarch of Olympus, had been particularly vigilant, aware of how Echidna and Typhon's union had tipped the scales of harmony. His interventions, though mighty, underscored a begrudging respect for the primordial forces Echidna represented, forces that could neither be entirely tamed nor ignored. The myths told of perpetual conflicts, numerous skirmishes and tremors felt across the realms, a testament to the continued struggle between creation and annihilation, order held against chaos. For heroes like Heracles, the path was always fraught with danger, each monstrous task an allegory for the human condition. Perseverance in the face of adversity, the courage to confront the unknown, and the wisdom to understand the nuanced nature of existence. In the cool stillness of her cavern, captivated by these ponderings, Echidna embraced her role as the mother of monsters. She comprehended the intricate threads her children spun across every myth, weaving patterns that defied stark simplicities. Their stories did not merely consist of conquest or defeat, but represented the perennial dance where power met wisdom, fear encountered courage. Even as their tales continued to unfold, her presence was felt across the ages, imbued with an eternal resonance. Her reflections turned towards the heroes who conquered her progeny, the legends they forged through trial and triumph. These narratives spread far and wide, ensuring her children's place in myth was eternal. Her heart was filled with a serene acceptance, for she saw how her legacy extended beyond the flesh and form of monsters. It emanated through the cultural lore that defined generations, a testament to an existence that never knew true extinction. As the moon rose softly above the quiet surface of the world, and the whispers of the past settled into a gentle hum, Echidna's vigil continued. Underneath the calm of the caverns, her contemplation remained unfettered, the harmony of chaos and creation resonating through her eternal mind. Beneath the twilight of ancient Greece, in the caverns where light barely dared to intrude, Echidna pondered the far-reaching implications of her offspring. Within these hidden depths, she had given life to monsters whose names were whispered both in fear and reverence. Cerberus, the faithful guardian of the underworld, Orthrus, the two-headed hound, and the Hydra, a creature embodying relentless regeneration, each played a crucial role both in the mortal world. The divine. As they took their places in the great tapestry of myth, Echidna's parental role shifted from creation to contemplation. Her gaze now lingered, not on her own existence, but on the lasting imprints her children left upon the world. The colossal shadow of her discounted mate, Typhon, still lingered. Though the battle at Mount Etna had silenced his roars, his very essence continued to resonate, a pulsating energy trapped beneath the Earth's crust. For Echidna, Typhon's subterranean imprisonment was a temporary setback, a mere interval in the grand scheme that her legacy would transcend the confines of Earth and time. To her, impassivity reigned, and with it, the awareness of life's perpetual cycles, a dance of creation and destruction, cradled within the arms of eternity. Echidna's creations, though monstrous to some, were essential conduits of chaos and order. They were guardians and gatekeepers, engines of fear and respect, whose roles intertwined with the destinies of heroes and deities alike. Each challenge presented by her children, the impenetrable vigilance of Cerberus, the steadfast loyalty of Orthrus, the regenerative resilience of Hydra, served as crucibles for heroism. They tested mortals' courage and ingenuity, forging tales that would resound through the ages. In the actions of these mythical figures, Echidna saw her influence extending beyond mere existence, crafting narratives that strummed the threads of fate and destiny. To the Olympians, these beings were often viewed with trepidation. Their very presence was a reminder of the unbridled forces that lay beyond the gods' structured order. Echoing through the marble halls of Olympus, murmurs of discontent stretched beyond the lost battle of Typhon. Zeus, having reasserted his dominance, remained wary of the potential his foes held. As his kind pondered their next moves, alliances and rivalries shifted like sands in a tempest, setting the stage for future tales of intrigue and wonder. The mortal realm, too, felt the pangs of these otherworldly whispers. Great heroes would one day rise to meet these challenges, sections from their myths interweaving with the lives of Echidna's progeny. Achilles, Heracles, and Perseus, all sent on quests that would face the dichotomy Echidna and her kin epitomized. Each challenge surmounted added to the tapestry of legend, elevating Echidna's children to more than the sum of their parts. They were the creators of opportunity for greatness, forging paths where mortals might etch their own legacies into the annals of myth. Yet Echidna longed for harmony within the chaos she had birthed. As she watched the threads of time unravel into infinite possibilities, she understood that even the gods were not immune to change. Creation and destruction were but two sides of the same coin, ever spinning beneath the watchful gaze of eternity. Her children's powers lay not just in their ferocity, but in what they inspired in those who encountered them. Thus, the mythological balance continued, with Echidna's role as both mother and creator shaping the course of history and legend alike. Amid stone and shadow, Echidna's serene reflections cast a gentle light upon the truths that governed the world she had helped shape. The quietude of her solitude gave her pause to consider the enduring wonders yet to come. Every wave of time echoed back with stories touched by her influence, tales of heroism, fear, and balance renewed with each retelling. Her spirit lay woven but not mired within these vibratory stories of life's ceaseless cycle, ever breathing, ever imminent. Above, day turned to night, then back again, in endless revolution. In Echidna's heart, the beat went on, a powerful pulse that urbanized the life of myth through creatures formidable and fantastical. The myths spun by the ancient world stretched beyond isolated tales of grandeur, and found grounding in the familial legacy Echidna tenderly forged. As her vision drifted amidst these musings, she saw clearly the cyclical path of myth, a bridge spanning the chasm between chaos and order, forever impacted by her creations. As the echoes of mythological tales continued to ripple through time, Echidna found solace in reflecting on her enduring legacy. Her secluded cavern, a sacred and formidable place, stood as a testament to her role as the mother of monsters. It was within these shadowy confines that she had given birth to creatures that would shape destinies and incite the heroics of mortals and immortals alike. With each monstrous offspring, Echidna knew she had woven herself into the fabric of an ever-unfolding narrative, a story where creation often skirts the edge of destruction, where chaos and order are two sides of the same coin. Over time, the children of Echidna and Typhon emerged from the mythical shadows into the stories of gods, heroes, and men, leaving indelible marks on the world. Their lives became the exacting balances that defined boundaries between worlds mortal and divine. Cerberus, ever vigilant at the gates of the underworld, held back the tides of souls yearning for return to the surface. His presence not only safeguarded Hades' realm, but also established the foundational order required to maintain the fragile equilibrium of life and death. While mortals feared these creatures, others found purpose in opposing them, thus advancing the eternal themes of valor and heroism. The trials posed by these monsters raised heroes of their own making, like Hercules, who labored against the terrifying Hydra. For every head he severed, more appeared, a testimony to elemental resilience, echoing the tenacity of Echidna's own spirit. These feats of courage were stories that became legend, told under the stars by ambitious storytellers who hoped to emulate the wondrous feats of the gods and their adversities. Echidna pondered how Zeus, with his unbending gaze and calculated might, had deemed her children threats, but had indirectly forged heroes from those who vanquished them. The Olympians' direct intervention, clashing with Typhon, only deepened the intricacies of this cosmic narrative. Though Typhon lay subdued beneath Mount Etna, his residual might still whispered promises of awe to those willing to listen. Zeus sought order amid chaos, yet in seeking to control, he inadvertently sowed the seeds of further opportunities for heroes to birth and legends to arise. In her quiet sanctuary, Echidna found herself caught in a contemplative calm. Her role as both a harbinger and observer of chaos reflected the myriad contradictions of existence. In each tale of triumph or downfall, she saw the reflection of her influence, her creative will ensuring that the boundary between the divine and mortal realms would never be static. Her progeny were not just creatures but symbols, manifestations of nature's indomitable spirit, challenging, testing, and spurring the inhabitants of the world toward growth and change. As endless stories unfurled, tales weaved into the very essence of Greek mythology, Echidna's legacy endured, timeless and immutable. The earth, rich in the lore of monsters and heroes, bore witness to the balance she had sown, neither glancing fully into chaos nor nestling within perfect harmony. In truth, the cavern's walls, with their gleaming veins of quartz, storied through epochal dust, painted shadows of beasts and heroes, intertwining an eternal dance, a dance as old as time. In the serene quiet of her domain, Echidna's reflections found peace. She had contributed to the perennial flow of myths that would inspire and terrify in equal measure. Her name, whispered in reverence and fear, would echo through the ages, immortalized not just in the histories of deities and beasts, but in the tale of human perseverance against celestial odds. Though her time on the stage might dwindle, new myths spring ever on the edge of discovery, born from the loins of chaos, pulled from the recesses of the human heart's desire to understand that which is beyond reach. As tales of heroism and divine will continue to unfold, Echidna's watchful eye lingered on the horizon of myth, poised for the genesis of stories forged from the eternal dance of chaos and order.